White students not getting funding by NSFAS is like such a huge myth, and I just wanted to debunk that as well with like actual statistics on this video. White students don't get excluded from NSFAS funding based on being white, but actually because on average, white households earn a very high income compared to their black and colored or Indian student peers. NSFAS basically caps funding based on whether your combined household income is over a certain amount. So people are only eligible for NSFAS funding if their combined household income is under 350,000 Rand. Thankfully, for if you have a disability, they do cap the combined household income at 600,000 Rand because they do recognize that being disabled means that you have to spend more money to live and to have a better quality of life. And being disabled generally is more expensive. The statistics that I'm using is from the 2022 to 2023 Income and Expenditure Survey. So basically, they found that on average, white households earned about 676,000 Rand per year. So it's not that NSFAS is excluding white students from receiving funding. It's just that white students generally don't need or actually don't meet the requirements financially or income-wise because, they earn much more. Including myself, I know at least 4 other white students who were funded by NSFAS, but it's because we have disabilities. If it were not for our disabilities, then we would not have met the requirements because we still, on average, have a higher household income compared to our black and colored and Asian households around us.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is what is happening. Young white kids are breaking the silence and the system is feeling the pressure. And this is going on that white kids are complaining about what other white people are doing to the black people. And let's see what is happening. Let's watch this video and see what is happening.
When a system that's much more powerful than you are decides to abuse that power, no amount of compliance from you is going to ensure your safety. And that's just a cold hard truth from history. Because here's the thing, whenever an outrageous case of power abuse happens, there will always be a group of people who are either clinging onto false hope or don't actually know where they are themselves in the power structure. And they will come out and say, oh, if they just did this and that, this could have all been avoided. And look, on an individual level, nobody knows, right? No one has a time machine. If real life is like a simulation where you can play it out in 20 different ways, sure, maybe you can find a few ways that minor changes lead to dramatically better results. But that's not really the point, because on a large scale, that's just not how power works in a society. When people operating the system that holds the power decide to breach the pre-established social contract, and in a lot of cases, legal contract as well, it's not about punishing specific behaviors. The point is showing that they can use their power this way without restraint and getting away with it. They don't do that because you did something wrong. They do it because they can. And am I saying if you're unhappy with how things are going right now, just pick up a weapon and become Batman of your town? No, of course not. I'm just saying it doesn't help anyone, including yourself, if you are unable to look at reality as it is. Any history from any culture is quite clear on this.
I am being watched. I am being watched, and I am being silenced. And don't even call me overdramatic. Don't even utter those words. In the past couple of weeks, there has been a huge decline in my engagement, in my views, because I talk about politics, because I'm very clear in where I stand in politics. I just posted a video where I didn't even speak. I held up pieces of paper that I'd written on with scruffy handwriting so they wouldn't be clocked. That video immediately became ineligible for recommendation. This app is a fucking dictatorship. It is a fucking dictatorship. And if I wasn't monetizing off it, if I didn't need this money, I would have deleted it by now. This app is bullshit. It is absolutely bullshit, and it's silencing creators like me who, talk about shit. I am being so clearly silenced. I'm being watched. It is so clear that I'm being watched. Because I speak about politics. I'm 19 years old. And I'm disabled. I'm autistic. I'm being fucking watched. I'm being silenced. I have a platform of nearly 40,000 followers, and my videos now, on average, get 300 views. with about 60 likes. A couple weeks ago, it was around 10,000 views with about 3,000 to 4,000 likes. They're not subtle about it anymore. They don't care about what you think anymore because they know that you don't care. They know that you probably already scrolled past this. So it's useless me talking about this now 2 minutes in. I cannot speak about what I have found because they are silencing me. And it's bullshit. I've just spent fucking 10 minutes doing the captions. This video's gonna get fucking silenced as well, innit? Live, laugh, love.
They just don't make them like they used to, young people. What's it like being born in the same century as Theodore Roosevelt? Oh, you want to have a roast battle? At least my generation doesn't eat Tide Pods. At least my generation doesn't smoke when they're pregnant. At least my generation can read time on a clock with hands. At least my generation can convert a file to PDF without giving our computer aids. At least my generation had rap and hip-hop music you could actually understand the words in. At least my generation cares about work-life balance. My generation had real metal vehicles. At least my generation didn't eat lead paint. At least my generation wasn't addicted to tablets. At least my generation isn't mentally deteriorated from drinking nothing but water from the water hose. That was the best tasting water. You take that back. Listen, we should set aside our differences and combine forces to take on the really old people. The really old people, who are they? The old people that wouldn't let women have a bank account and violently protested to keep schools segregated. Okay, but look, we've got you, Gen Z, and we've got me, Gen X, but we need the millennials for this one. Yeah, I know how to call them. Bill. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It's time for a refresher course in Gen Z vernacular. As Gen Z becomes more and more prominent in the workplace and as they become your clients, as they have mine, it's important to be able to communicate with them effectively and not misunderstand what they're saying, which is happening. It really does sound like a foreign language, and most Gen Zers know that you actually have no clue what they're saying, so they're actually talking, it's as if they have a code language. But if you want to eavesdrop on them, this is exactly what they're saying. One of the first one is being in an era. So for example, someone might say, I'm in my butternut squash era, which means that they are consuming a lot of butternut squash. To be gagged means to be shocked. For example, I was totally gagged by the fact that Rihanna was pregnant. Ate and left no crumbs. Now, this has nothing to do with eating. I know, shocking. This has to do with executing things well. Here's the example. Sylvia ate that presentation and left no crumbs. Mother. No, not the one that gave birth to you or the one that adopted you, but an iconic figure. Here's an example. Also, this term is not necessarily feminine. It's non-binary, so it can be referred to either gender. And an example would be, did you hear about Lana Del Rey putting up a billboard in her ex-boyfriend's hometown? She's so mother for that. Say less. This has nothing to do with talking less. This has to do with understanding. So this can sound extremely rude if you don't know what the Gen Zers are telling you. Here's an example. Let's go to the store and pick up some ice cream. Say less. Riz. Riz means charisma. So if you're a smooth talker, you've got Riz. Mid. Now, that just basically means that it's something that is lame or basic. Let's go to that really fun new restaurant. Oh, I don't want to go. That restaurant is so mid. Slay, my all-time favorite. I actually knew this one, so I was very excited. Slay is to really execute something well. Nina, your presentation was bomb. Ooh, is that another Gen Zer? Slay.
Like, you're not going to be 15 forever. You're not going to be 16 forever. At some point, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to work a 9 to 5. You're going to have to, maybe not a 9 to 5, but you're going to have to make money somehow to live. You can't have everything provided for you your whole life. I think a lot of you guys stress about it too much, and I think there is a lot of pressure put on you guys more than previous generations. I think Gen Z has a lot of expectations, especially how today's economy is, where it's like, hey, if you don't get a college degree, you're fucked. Hey, if you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't get a good GPA and you don't do academics and work a job at the same time, you're not going to be able to succeed in life because you're going to be indebted to student loans for the rest of your life. You're going to work until you're 75 and then you're going to die having no paid time off, and you're going to visit one country the entire length of your life. Like,
anybody else out there have Gen Z kids that have kind of changed your whole perspective? My kids have completely changed my ideas and what I thought was true, especially when it comes to the working world, and how much time we spend on work and how much effort we spend and how stressed out we get about it, all the things. They are teaching me so much about setting boundaries, about time freedom, about flexibility, and the importance of that in a work environment. I think there's just so much that we have accepted for so many years as normal, that they are questioning, and it has kind of woken me up too. So, that is what really, that was a huge reason why I decided I was going to start learning to make money online, because I want additional income. I want something so that I don't have to rely on my 9-to-5 to provide every single bit of income for me. So that is why I started. But if you are also in that kind of headspace and you're looking for something to supplement your current 9-to-5, or something that where you could eventually even leave your 9-to-5, comment class. I will send you a link to the free training that I did that actually got me started.
In case you're new here, I want to make it very clear where my husband and I stand in all of the chaos that is happening here in the United States. And I'm going to say it one more time. We stand with marginalized people. We stand with Black people, Hispanic people, trans people, gay people, Muslim people, anyone who is being villainized in this very moment that you can think of. We stand for them. And I am tired as a white woman not seeing enough white people calling out the bullshit that is happening right now. If you've got Black friends, Hispanic friends, trans friends, gay friends, and you are being quiet and you are not calling out other white people when they start saying racist, transphobic, Islamophobic, any kind of horrible remarks, you are equally a part of the problem. We do not need to let other people be comfortable in their hatred anymore. It is our job as any progressive white person to stand up and call out bullshit when we hear it, and to make these people feel uncomfortable enough to go back into hiding, or to second guess the things that they are supporting, doing, and saying. And no, we do not have to be close to these people, stay friends with these people, have relationships with these people if they are continuously saying things that hurt marginalized people. I have seen too many white people, the minute their Black friends aren't around, feel comfortable enough to sit there and listen to some bullshit that their friend might have to say that is racist, and not stand up for their Black friend. And then you wonder why Black people don't want to fuck with us anymore. I am no longer going to not say anything to these people and be quiet. There is nothing okay with what is happening right now. And so if you are new to my page and you have started following us, I just want to let you know right here, right now, one more time, because I said it a few weeks ago, that this is where I stand. And if you come on this page and you spew any hate or any bull crap, and you start talking about these other people, these marginalized groups, and you have no facts that even back up what you are saying other than Fox News, I will block you. That is it.
I'm not even a Republican, but every time someone on the left opens their mouth right now, like, I am this close to becoming a Republican. When I hear the words, no human is illegal, coming from a group of people that more than likely own fucking passports, like, I'm this close to putting a MAGA hat in my cart. Like, I am trying to be reasonable, okay? I am trying. I have very leftist views, okay? I don't like guns. I believe in trans rights. I believe that if you're a consenting adult, you can do whatever the hell you want to with your body. But when you start replacing words like mother with birth giver, and you see people like Gavin Newsom calling his own wife the first partner of California, like, I can feel my soul applying for an NRA membership. Like, I have traditionally leftist views, okay? I recycle. I believe in clean energy. I believe in healthcare for all. I understand and acknowledge that racism is alive and well in America today. But when I ask for something as simple as border security and you start throwing out words like racist and fascist and bigot and authoritarian, I start Googling where to buy a fucking F-250. And I don't even like trucks. I hate trucks. I would never drive a truck. But the way you guys are acting is literally making me want to do something so cringe, like fly a giant American flag off of my front porch. And don't even get me started on 4th of July. Oh my God. Every time that a leftist says that they're not celebrating 4th of July or that 4th of July is canceled, I promise you another piece of American flag clothing gets put in my cart. I mean, maybe at this point I should thank you for reviving my patriotism, because every time you open your mouth, I become more and more of a patriot for this country.
I grew up considered poor white trash just like many other white folks in this country, sometimes eating out of dumpsters and living off of ramen noodles and a 5-finger discount. My family went through evictions and I moved more times than I can count before the time I was 18. I joined the military out of high school to keep from staying poor white trash. Although I spent a decade in the military, I'm back to being considered poor white trash. I have Section 8 and food stamps. Sometimes I do have to hit a food pantry. Sometimes I don't have gas. I can't afford an attorney to fight for my child. I do struggle, but I don't struggle because I'm black. I struggle because I'm in poverty. If I was black, I would have to deal with poverty plus racism. Sure, privilege is probably not the right word to be using whenever it comes to white privilege, because being treated like a human is not a privilege, it's a right. But when you're being treated like you're human, to those who are being treated like they're less than human, it looks a lot like privilege.
If you're a right-leaning white woman, you might think that you have the protection of your white male counterparts because their discrimination, their hate, their violence isn't always directed typically at you. But look at how these men are defending the death of Reddy Nicole Good because she was perceived as being non-compliant. You see how the protection of white women is conditional, how it's depending on your capacity to uphold the status quo. Can you even call that protection? Realistically, that's just conditioning. You're only safe among those ranks so long as you're obedient. And the men who are justifying this, like a white woman got shot 3 times because of non-compliance. They think that death is a suitable punishment for disobedience. And these are the men that you're marrying, having children with, building homes with. And this is how they see you. This is how they see your class. What do you really stand to benefit from this like right-wing utopia that these men are hoping to build? Where are you going to stand in that when they can justify harm and violence towards you on the day that you don't do as you're told?
Why do white people think they can comment on things about people of color or racism? Like, if we're talking about races and we're talking about racism and our experiences, don't say anything. Just listen up. That's all. You have no position here. You have no power. You don't. Unless we're talking about like capitalism, but like
white women are huffing and puffing, foaming out their mouths over this post stating, "I hate when a white woman acts as a non-white man," and who set that program up. Like, go read about Emmett Till and get back to me on who set it up. She wasn't wrong at all. White women have historically benefited from both patriarchy and racism at the same time. During the suffrage movement, many white women prioritized gaining the right to vote for themselves over fighting for black women's rights, even aligning with racist arguments to get there. They gained access to power, while black women were still being excluded. And under Jim Crow, white women were positioned as protected, but that protection came at the expense of black people. especially black. The case of Emmett Till is a clear example of how a white woman's word, backed by racist systems, could have deadly consequences. It wasn't just passive. There were white women who upheld these systems in their everyday lives, supporting segregation, maintaining racial hierarchies in their homes and communities, benefiting from the very systems their male counterparts enforced. So when people want to bring up oppression Olympics, no one is denying that white women experience sexism. But we also have to be honest that the system of patriarchy was created and upheld with a racial hierarchy, still privileged whiteness. But when you ask, who set that program up? It was a bunch of old white men, the ones we have in office right now, that are currently setting up racist and misogynistic systems again. And it was white women who still benefit from that system and at times participated in upholding it. To the white women watching this, stop arguing and talking over black women. If you want to claim that white feminism girl bullshit, at least amplify black women voices when they discuss these kind of
White America, you have to listen to me, y'all. Trump is literally doing the opposite of the justice that is needed to heal our land. And it's our fault. And not just those of us who voted for him, all of us. Because we rejected the heart cry of the black community for justice. For the justice that they are divinely due. When their heart cry arose in 2020, during the summer of George Floyd, we shut them out. We brushed them off. We did nothing. And now it's all coming full circle. $1.776 billion. 1776. The year that this nation was officially forged on the backs of African slaves. And we have refused to pay them their rightful due ever since. But, and there is a but, it's never too late to do the right thing.
One of our biggest fears buying land in the South was ending up in an area surrounded by white conservatives. I said this in a video that I posted about how we ended up buying a house in a majority POC community. Anyways, some probably white man, I didn't even check because I don't got the time, posted in the comments, so you're racist against white and conservative people. Sir, I am not the only one that is embarrassed by us. Are you, not aware of this? White people are sick of white people shit. Call it what you want, but in all seriousness, I don't want to lose my life because you read the Bible and I don't, because I'm gay and you're not, because I want health care for everybody and you don't, and because I want our kids fucking protected in school and you would rather have guns. Don't get me wrong, I want you to be able to live your life the way you want to live your life as long as it's not hurting anybody. And I want to be able to live mine the way I want to live my life without your opinions being forced down my throat. And stereotypically, white conservatives are really good at that. I'm sorry.
Gen Z men are flocking to the church? Why are we surprised? Be so for real. Sure, you've seen an article or a video about this somewhere that Gen Z men are indeed much more religious and conservative than their female counterparts, specifically white Gen Z men. Do you know that there's a strong correlation between perceived victimhood, so essentially thinking you're the victim even when you're not, and being an evangelical Christian? The strongest that correlation is for 19-year-old young men. American evangelical Christianity does is promises a spot in the social hierarchy for those young men. I saw another video that said once women start to overtake men in a certain sector or area or job or whatever, it all of a sudden loses its value. Do you know the one place where women are not going to overtake men? It's going to be American evangelical Christianity, the birthplace of the true evil, Christian nationalism. Churches that really hold on to those traditional values, traditional gender norms will never, ever let a woman be in charge. This is your friendly reminder that patriarchy hurts everyone. Yes, even men.
And hot take, it's not that Gen Z is lazy or we don't want to work. And I see this narrative of I don't dream of labor. It's not that you don't dream of labor, it's that you don't dream of extractive and exploitative labor. Because take it from someone who absolutely hated a 9-to-5. I hated that shit so much. I now have my own business and I love to work. It's not that you hate labor or you hate the output. It's that you hate the output that is done on someone else's terms. You hate the hierarchical systems of power and control that exist in the modern workforce. It isn't that you don't want to contribute, it's that your contribution is marketed to you as your only value that you offer society. And it's our inability societally to detach what we give versus who we actually are that creates these systems of oppression, like the modern workforce and the 9-to-5 culture, where we believe that in order to have any worth, we have to consistently sell our time and energy, which is absolutely not true. So it's not that you don't want to work. It's not that you don't dream of labor. It's that you don't dream of labor in an exploitative and an extractive way.
Gen Z, you're about to be dead to me. The millennial smile? Are you guys serious? We can't even smile anymore? The amount of energy that you guys spend studying us, obsessing over us, criticizing us, and ultimately copying us is honestly pathetic at this point. You're welcome, by the way, for skinny jeans, all black fits, skinny eyebrows, thick eyebrows, full beat makeup, natural makeup, literally everything that you like, we made. We're your older sisters and brothers, your bosses, and your only bridge to the rest of the world. You guys live on social media, we created it, and we're the only generation who knows how to live fully immersed in it and completely without it. So why are you burning your bridges? Go touch grass, get a life, get your head out of your own ass, and just let us be.
Late Gen Z and Gen Alpha will be the most racist generations in a very, very long time.
And I'm not done ranting about Gen Z. Gen Z, when someone calls you, you pick up the phone and say hello first. You don't just sit there waiting for them to say something, waiting for them to breathe heavily over the phone. You say hello. That is called a greeting. It is something that we do when we are encountering someone for the first time. It initiates that we are there and ready to receive whatever they are about to say next. It is called common courtesy. Okay, so I realize that you get robocalls, I get them too and everything, but I was raised to say hello, or to say who this, at least, when I answer the phone. You will not convince me that it is normal to just pick up the phone and breathe heavily on the other line, waiting for someone to say hello first. Stop using technology as an excuse as to why you don't communicate properly. You just don't, and it's something you have to work on, and that's just fine, but don't gaslight us into thinking that we're the weird ones for it. No, you have to work through that. Y'all love AI so much, right? Use AI to help you learn how to interact with other people, okay? Do whatever you need to do, but do it please and quickly.